What's up, guys? Chaz and Charlie, and today I'm going to discuss my biggest regret when I was smoking weed. My biggest regret. Sound like I said regret. So, started smoking weed when I was 16 years old, and just first off, that's my biggest regret. I don't. Weed itself, if we introduce weed into our lives in our adult years when we are ill, or whether you're not even ill, if you want to just do it recreationally, I don't think there's a big issue with using it every now and then, or using it as a something to let loose, or using it for mild cases of anxiety, or to help you get some sleep from time to time. But an issue is when we introduce weed into our lives too early, and most of us do. Me, not saying all, but most people don't smoke weed for the first time when they're 29 years old. You're really one of the lucky ones if you do so, because although weed is not bad, it is bad when kids today are smoking weed before their brains are fully developed. They say that our brain is not fully developed until we are at age 25. And again, most of us start smoking weed way before the age of 25. So we've kind of changed our genetic makeup of our brain, or changed our mental structure that's still growing, still learning, still developing. So the issue when we start smoking weed at such a young age, we actually don't get to truly learn ourselves in our most natural state. Again, kids, we're still learning, we're figuring things out. Our mind is processing things around us. We're not at our full we're not at our final stage of how our brains, how we're set to be, how we're going to handle issues, handle our anxiety, handle our stress. And we introduce weed into the picture before all those things have fully developed. And that's a real big issue, especially nowadays when we have with our young teens, or Gen Z and thereafter. I think I call it Gen Alpha. I don't know. But they're real big on anxiety and depression and stress and all these feelings. And yet they're also very, very, very pro-weed. Now, this generation, they are very opposed to drinking, which is not bad. I don't think you definitely should not be drinking either when you're 16. But they have replaced alcohol with weed, and they're using weed at a high level. Hold on, guys. So yeah, they're depressed, they have anxiety, like most all kids do. When you're going into the puberty years and you're in school and you're meeting girls or meeting boys and meeting friends, and you're dealing with all these adult-like emotions that you weren't. Excuse them. These adult-like emotions that we weren't used to when we were 10 and 12. That comes with anxiety or stress, but we immediately shouldn't run the weed. I think kids are smoking weed now because they're depressed, they're lonely, anxiety. Not saying we didn't smoke weed, or some of us didn't do it for similar reasons. Most of us are just smoking weed recreationally. It wasn't a thing where we were like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm having anxiety, let me smoke some weed. It's, let's go get high. Which I think people are still like. I think people just hide behind the excuse, or it sounds better than if they say it's not. I'm not doing it for fun. I'm doing it because I have stress or anxiety or yada yada yada. But when you start this at a young age, you also have a higher chance of becoming addicted. Again, this channel is not rated to just bash anybody who smokes weed, but specifically when you are addicted to weed. And studies show when you start smoking weed at a very young age, in your teens, when your brain is definitely not fully developed, you have a higher chance to be addicted. If you start smoking when you're 26, 27, not saying it still can't happen, but you have a lesser risk chance of becoming a everyday thing because, your brain has gotten used to live life and handle things without the comfort of smoking weed every day. So it's dangerous that, I'm not a war on drugs person, but I feel like drugs are heavily promoted to our youth today. And we can go from weed to psychedelics to pills. A lot of kids are dying now from overdoses from all types of prescription meds, which were not a thing when we were growing up. Again, I'm not condoning alcohol, and nobody should be drinking at 16, but nobody died from alcohol poisoning. Now, we did have drunk driving. That's been a thing. But nobody just, died from alcohol itself, to where that is a thing. Now, if you're on drugs, you can still kill yourself driving high. But not only that, just ingesting these drugs can kill you. Not saying not putting weed in the same category, because definitely weed is not going to kill you. But it can be a gateway to other drugs when the teens today have replaced alcohol with this drug culture, and we mask it under mental health, mental wellness. Something like mushrooms and psychedelics, they are disguised as, enlightening you, or giving you a better outlook on life, or explaining things, when you're really just high out your fucking mind. But with weed, like I said, we throw off our mental development when we introduce weed at a young age. And again, this whole anxiety culture, not saying people above the age of 30, 25 don't have anxiety, but that's not really a thing so much with us as it is with these younger kids. And we're coupled with, like I said, the legalization of weed, to where weed is definitely way more acceptable than what it was even 5-10 years ago. You're going to have more kids smoking weed at a younger age than what they were 10 years ago, which we're going to have a lot of kids with, messed up brain functions because they're introduced this substance into their daily life when their brains have not fully developed. So, we found the way to get weed when it was illegal. Like I said, I've never had an issue with, getting weed because it was illegal. So, and it was like, only if weed was legal, I can get it easier. I think because weed is legal in many states, it's like also allowing people who probably wouldn't smoke weed to smoke weed, which is creating more weed addicts. And people say, oh, you can't be a weed addict. That's not a thing. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing. So yeah, that's my biggest regret with weed. I wished I wouldn't have started smoking weed so early. I feel like that led to me needing it. So, started when I was 16. By the time I was 18, I was smoking weed every single day. And I didn't stop that until I was in my mid-30s. So, I think that would have been different had I not smoked weed until I was 25. Because again, you have taken on life to where you know how to handle daily stresses and anxiety without outside help. So you're not going to be introduced to weed. It's a lesser chance of you being introduced to weed and it becoming an immediate part of your everyday life, because you're not so disposed to just, falling for every single thing like you were when you were 16. So that's all I will say about that. My biggest regret with weed, I just shouldn't have started smoking early. Maybe I wouldn't have this channel if I smoked at 25, and maybe I'll be the one to say it's not a big deal. But I didn't, and I know the struggle, and it can be definitely a big deal depending on the person. So guys, let me know how you feel. Do you feel different? Does it not make a difference? Maybe just me. I don't think it's me, but what do you think? So until next time, guys, please like, subscribe, share. Most importantly, comment below. Please comment below. And until next time, guys, remember, we are all in this together. Peace.
He's puffing clouds that choke the room. Eyes so red they glow like no moon. A bag of green cradled like a prize, but his stomach twists like tangled ties. He rides the high but takes the fall. Sweat drips down like his body's calm. He can't eat, he can't wind, lost in the haze of his green grind. Oh, the blaze takes him high, then drops him low, spinning like a fan lost in the flow. The grass is greener on the other side, but he's stuck in the loop, no place to hide. He holds his gut and feels the sting, but still he chases what the joint might bring. Doctor says put it away, but the echoes call at the end of the day. Caught in the cycle, can't deny, he's chasing clouds under a smoky sky. He starts to laugh when nothing's fun, running from the truth he tries to shun. But deep inside he knows too clear, the cost of smoke is getting near. Takes him high, then drops him low, spinning like a fan lost in the flow. The grass is greener on the other side, but he's stuck in the loop, no place to hide. Thunder says, boy, put it away, but the echoes call at the end of the day. Caught in a cycle, can't deny, he's chasing clouds under a smoky sky. He starts to laugh when nothing's fun, running from the truth he tries to shun. But deep inside he knows too clear, the cost of smoke is getting near. Under a smoky sky, he starts to laugh when nothing's fun, running from the truth he tries to shun. But deep inside he knows too clear, the cost of smoke is getting near.